Hello, everyone. This conversation with Tamu Lewis, who is a woman of many strengths, is about honoring motherhood. Tamu will share invaluable life lessons and practical solutions which can help moms find a sense of relief, reclaim their joy, and optimize their mental wellness to achieve the life they desire and deserve while caring for others. These tips come from her personal experiences while helping families cope with mental illness, including her relationship with her mother-in-law and her oldest daughter, both of whom live with diagnosed mental illnesses. Tamu holds an MBA. She is an author, speaker, human resources leader with over 24 years of experience in corporate and consulting positions, and is the co-founder and board president of the Lee Thompson Young Foundation, a nonprofit dedicated to mental health education. She founded this organization as a living legacy to her brother, actor Lee Thompson Young, whom she lost to suicide in 2013. Knowing that her brother struggled with bipolar disorder and suffered in silence, she is passionate about promoting mental wellness in schools, communities, and organizations, and she is here with us today to celebrate and empower moms. Thank you, Tamu, for being with us.
Yes, thank you, Debbie. It's an honor to be here.
Awesome. Well, we'll get started right away, and I'm going to ask Tamu a few questions, and she's going to answer them for us. And then she has something very special at the end. First question is, why and how do we forget to take care of ourselves, especially moms?
Yes, I think that it is almost natural for us to care for everyone else first, especially as moms, as nurturers, and even like outside of our children and our immediate family, people in the community or our coworkers. It's just natural that we want to help and make their lives better. And we oftentimes forget about ourselves or put ourselves on the back burner just through our natural instincts to provide that care and nurture to other people.
Yes, agreed. Thank you for that. And understanding, obviously, the value of caring for ourselves. Can you give us a few tips from your personal experiences?
Yes, so it took me a long time to really take heed to and practice putting myself first because it just doesn't even sound right, if you're a mom, or it didn't sound right to me. But I eventually did realize, unfortunately, through like health problems, that's kind of what really set me on the right path, but realized that if I take better care of myself, that actually allows me to show up better for the people that I care about. So, there's simple things like getting enough sleep. So if you just think about how if you don't have enough sleep, or actually a better example might be your children. You know how typically when we have younger children or even different ages of children, we want to put them on a routine because we know that they need a certain amount of sleep to operate at an optimal level the next day. And we don't want them at school tired and cranky. So we go through all of this to make sure that they expend their energy so that then we can get them to sleep, right? So we need to think about that for ourselves. So as adults, we're not able to operate at an optimal level either if we haven't gotten enough rest, and we may be a little more agitated with people or have less tolerance. And so sleep is like a big part of self-care that we may not really consciously think about, but that's something that you can begin to pay attention to and do things to improve your quality of sleep as a method of self-care. And another thing that I often encourage people to do is to schedule your self-care. So just like other things that are important to you, you put them on your calendar. So you have all of these appointments to go to, work meetings, your children's appointments, but you don't put any time on there for you. And I say actually like schedule an appointment with yourself. So, and find things that you can do that resonate with you as part of your self-care practice and routine, because not everything works for everyone. So you want to make sure that it's something that you actually enjoy and you feel like it's nurturing to you. So, of course, we have the typical things that we talk about, like exercise. And not everybody likes exercise. I do not, but I know that it's necessary. And I know that I feel better when I do it on a regular basis. So, what I had to do was find something that works for me that I actually don't mind doing. So, for me, that's walking. That's easy for me to incorporate because we have a family dog, and so I walk him, and that's exercise. And then I also like group exercise in terms of Pilates. So that works for me, and I can fit that into my schedule. But there's all sorts of exercise that you might not be thinking about. So, like dancing is an exercise, it's movement. So I think it's really important to move your body, and that helps to release stress. So that's a method of self care that you can become aware of. And again, the key is just finding something that resonates with you so that you can maintain that throughout the days, because I know how busy we can get, particularly as moms.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Moving, just getting out to move. Um, Also, talk to us about sharing with others and connection. Tell us about that benefit, how it has benefited you, and how did you make that happen when we live in this world of stigma?
Yes, so I think sharing and connection are both very important. And particularly when you are going through a mental health challenge yourself or you're trying to support your loved one. So in this case, I was trying to support my daughter who has a diagnosed mental illness. And as a parent, I did feel alone. I did feel like no one could really understand what I was going through. And even though we have loving family members, they're still not like in the thick of it in terms of that mother daughter relationship and trying to support her with the mental illness and going to the doctor's appointments and the therapy appointments. And working with her school, all of that. So I really felt like no one could understand. And it was important for me to actually find a support group locally, and fortunate enough that there was one, a support group locally where I could go, and really it was a safe space that was created there. And I was able to share my frustrations, my feelings of sadness and helplessness, to share that information and find out about some resources that I wasn't aware of. And then also to literally know that I'm not alone because there were other parents in the room. And we had that experience, that life experience in common, or we wouldn't have been in the room. So it's just like a literal reminder of, okay, you might feel like you're alone, but you're not. And sometimes we need that visual evidence, and we need to hear stories from other people that can then help us. So sometimes they may be sharing challenging situations, which may be sad, right? May have made me feel sad, and that was the case. But also, the situations brought hope as well, because some of them had children who were older than my daughter, so they were going through it longer, and everything was still okay, right? So there's ups and downs, but they made it through the high school years, they made it through the middle school years. So that also provided hope to me and gave me like a frame of reference as I was dealing with different things with my daughter.
Right. That is amazing. Research has told us that the human connection is fundamental, such as food and water, for us to survive. So yeah, that's very important to reach out and connect with others so that you don't feel alone and you do have that point of reference for hope in long-term situation. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And that's one of the things that we try to do with my foundation. And I know you all do a lot of outreach as well at International Bipolar Foundation. But one of the things that I began to do just probably last year was really speak out as a parent, because prior to then, in terms of my work with the foundation and mental health education, it was really about my brother's story and the story of losing my brother, and how I felt as a sibling and trying to reduce the stigma associated with mental illness. But last year, I really began to speak out as a parent, sharing my own personal perspective and trying to encourage others to speak out as well, because I realized, just like I felt alone, even though I was in the mental health education space, right, and doing that work, that certainly others must feel alone. So I should speak out so that they know that, that there is someone else who's willing to share, and I can provide some type of support just by sharing my story.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for that. And I appreciate your comments and suggestions and tips. And I'd like to finish this short conversation with a letter from your daughter to you for Mom's Day.
Yes. My daughter did share a letter with me that she said I could read and share with you all. So it says, "Dear Mom, thank you, Mom, for always being there when I need support the most. My mental health journey has been a long, hard-fought one. Ever since Uncle Lee passed, I feel like I haven't been the same, but you have constantly given me support and a shoulder to cry on when I need it. Sure, we have our ups and downs, but who doesn't? You have truly shown me what unconditional love means, and I would never trade this family for anyone else. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking me in and giving me love. Love, Naya."
That's so amazing. And I just want to give a shout out to all moms on this day that is celebrated here in America this Sunday, and of course at different days of the year in other countries. But we celebrate you and all of the nurturing and love that you give to your children and family members and communities out there. Don't stop. It's needed. We thank you.
Yes, it absolutely is. Thank you to all the moms. Shout out.
All right. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next time for another conversation.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Bye-bye, everyone.